on this Monday night.
Delayed. Everything was delayed.
Bumped from a flight, airline lost your bag. Ottawa moves to make compensation the law.
We are going to make sure that airlines treat their passengers with the respect they deserve.
But does it go far enough?
He was being harassed while he was in uniform.
A corporal takes his own life after he was bullied on the job. And a CBC investigation finds he wasn't the only one who was harassed.
With billions on the line, Canada shelves its tourism ads as tensions with China rise. Why the Prime Minister says it's too soon to step in. This is The National.
The airline seats won't be bigger, the ticket prices won't be cheaper, but the government says Canadian air travelers can look forward to better customer service across the industry. It released details today of the proposed Bill of Rights for air passengers.
Except in circumstances which are beyond their control, we are going to make sure that airlines treat their passengers with the respect they deserve and live up to their commitments.
And if they don't, they'll pay a price directly to customers, $125 to $1,000 for flight delays and cancellations, but bad weather and maintenance problems don't count. $900 to $2,400 for bumping passengers due to airline overbooking seats, and up to $2,100 for damaged or lost luggage. There are other new rules, too, that don't involve compensation, such as clear communication about flight delays and cancellations, letting parents sit with their children without paying an extra fee for selecting a seat, and better treatment during long tarmac delays with provisions for food and drink, as well as good ventilation and working washrooms.
A passenger who feels that their rights have been infringed has 120 days to report it to the airline, and the airline must then respond within 30 days.
And from there, if it's not resolved, the complaint could be heard by the Canadian Transport Agency. So this may sound like progress, but what do passengers and the industry think? Jacqueline Hansen has the reaction.
At Canada's busiest airport, travelers know firsthand that flight delays can have a domino effect.
By the time it gets here, assuming that that time is right, on the other end it's going to be worse.
It's terrible because once I lost my connection, so I had to actually take another plane the following day.
The proposed rules would limit some extreme cases, like last year when passengers on 2 Air Transat planes in Ottawa boarded and waited to take off for 6 hours.
It was like over, I think, 30 degrees in that airplane, and they ran out of water at one point, and it just got ridiculous, and you're just like, how is this possible?
Under the new rules, the maximum would be 3 hours.
I'm glad that the actions are being taken. Clearly, severe circumstances can happen, but you have to think of the passengers first.
Consumer advocates are also hopeful the proposed payouts for bumping passengers could incentivize airlines to stop overbooking flights. But a group that represents Canadian Airlines says most delays are caused by weather conditions or safety issues and are out of the control of carriers.
One of the problems with the approach that the government took is to, point the finger at the airlines, create this narrative where the airlines are wearing the black hat and pretend that you can fix this through legislation.
And the cost of compensating passengers could come out of the pockets of all travelers.
Like any business, when anybody institutes something new, whether it's taxes or whatever, the consumer ends up paying for it.
For some flyers, that's not worth it.
I would rather have my flight than getting compensation for it.
Even though the bill is out before the holiday rush, this is just the first draft. Now Canadians have 60 days to weigh in, and the new rules aren't expected to be in place until the summer. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
Perhaps you've had a bad experience with an airline, and you wouldn't be alone. Over the past 5 years, formal complaints to the Canadian Transportation Agency have spiked. So as the holiday travel season ramps up, we put our red chair out at Vancouver International Airport and invited travelers to take a seat and speak out.
You want me to sit, right? Well,
hang on 2 seconds till we're rolling. Makes sense for you?
Air travel, dream or nightmare? Nightmare.
Air travel, dream or nightmare?
Dream or nightmare? It was a nightmare.
Air travel, dream or nightmare?
I think as any consumer that travels frequently on airlines, you've had both horrific and fantastic experiences.
I love it. It's a dream. But I did have a pretty bad experience not too long ago where we got stuck due to weather, but there wasn't really any weather. I couldn't figure it out.
I was flying home. I hadn't been home for Christmas in 2 years. The flight was overbooked, and I wasn't able to get a flight for another 2 days. And that was really precious vacation time to see my parents.
Instead of flying to Rome, they sent us to Madrid, then Madrid to Rome. It was a nightmare.
A travel dream or nightmare is a nightmare at times. My nightmare was luggage. At one point, I was going to Australia and my luggage got lost.
My luggages were transferred to another airline. It got lost without any notifications.
There should be more compensation than waiting for about 2 or 3 days.
They can't lose my bag. I mean, that is the worst thing ever. Don't lose my bag. But if it should be lost, it's got to be compensated totally, because the bag's sometimes worth more than what they compensate you for, but not let alone all the stuff that's in there.
I think the really, really important thing is for the airlines is to communicate, let people know what's going on, and to provide those updates without interrupting the movies that are playing too often.
Okay.
Wonderful job.
Is that good?
And you can still have your say on the proposed Passenger Bill of Rights. On the Canadian Transportation Agency's website, you have until February the 20th.
Still ahead on The National, more from our implant files, the problem with tracking and testing medical devices.
Plus, a look inside an opioid prevention site that's at risk of being shut down.
But first, the suicide of a young Manitoba reservist raises questions about his superiors. Nolan Caribou was a young man on the march.
Recording.
Proud University of Winnipeg graduate.
Woo! Way to go, bro!
Proud infantry reservist. On his Instagram, he wrote, "You have to keep going if you want to carve your Grand Canyon." And he seemed to be doing exactly that. But the 26-year-old took his own life last year while on a training exercise. Tonight, a CBC News investigation reveals that Nolan Caribou endured harassment and abuse at the hands of fellow soldiers, and nothing had been done to stop it. Caroline Bargut brings us his story.
Don't be nervous, cuteness for the future.
2 days before Corporal Nolan Caribou took his life, he posted this video.
Of insecurity.
On November 18, 2017, while at CFB Shiloh, Caribou excused himself from a training exercise. He said to take care of something personal. Fellow soldiers found him dead. An investigation later revealed Caribou died by suicide, a year after telling his superiors he was being bullied.
It is clear to me that he was being harassed while he was in uniform, and that leaders that should have taken action didn't, and that could have contributed to his death.
Caribou's death caught the attention of Brigadier General Trevor Cadu, who called the Board of Inquiry and then the military police. They found Caribou wasn't the only soldier being bullied at Winnipeg's Minto Armory. Court documents obtained by CBC allege there was ongoing ritual hazing, organized fighting, and harassment of junior officers. And it was all allegedly happening while some leaders turned a blind eye and others participated. One master corporal is alleged to have instructed soldiers to harass a private with the goal of making him quit. 5 soldiers have since been reprimanded. One was removed from a senior command position. Cadu says another was relieved of his military duties altogether, pending the results of the investigation.
I do not want that individual around any of my other soldiers, and so I've removed him from the environment.
The military says it works hard at helping members with mental health problems, but admits it's not always easy.
It's a rare occasion where the military admits, in fact, there were mistakes, admits a corrective step must be taken.
But military lawyer Michel Drapeau says more could be done. He says a public coroner's inquest should be called every time a soldier takes their life.
This is a graduate. Woo!
Caribou's family has asked for privacy, but a cousin tells CBC he was a kind, sweet, intelligent man. She says while the military's investigation was the right response, Sadly, it came too late. Caroline Bargout, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, Canada's Minister of National Defence issued a statement today regarding Caribou's case. He says every member of our Canadian Armed Forces deserves a professional environment in which they are treated with respect and dignity. I want to be clear, any kind of harmful behavior and harassment is completely unacceptable and will not be tolerated within our Canadian Armed Forces.
For more than 2 weeks, China has warned Canada that there will be severe consequences following the arrest of Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou. 2 Canadians have since been detained, and while they've been granted consular access, Ottawa isn't any closer to resolving this diplomatic feud. Now, the brewing tensions appear to be souring Chinese investors and tourists. Katie Simpson explains how Canada may already be paying the price.
Advertisements like this are part of a major marketing campaign to promote Canada-China tourism.
在2018中加旅游年
For Canada, the efforts are well worth it, since Chinese tourists spend more than $1 billion a year in this country alone. But now the campaign has been put on hold because of tensions between Ottawa and Beijing. In a statement, Destination Canada says this is a temporary measure and we're continuously reassessing, and that it's not the first time this has happened. There are exceptional circumstances when geopolitical issues or tragic events make tourism marketing potentially damaging to the destination's reputation. Last week, Tourism Minister Melanie Joly also postponed her planned trip to China to celebrate the year of Canada-China tourism. While tourism ties are tense, it is not the only industry caught in the diplomatic dispute.
Since the Huawei incident last week, everything's been chilled.
Flavio Volpe has spent more than 2 years trying to get Chinese auto parts producers to invest in the Canadian market. It had been going well, he says, until the arrest of Huawei CFO Meng Wanzhou.
They've explicitly brought that up and have changed the discussion to, instead of immediate term, they're talking about, well, let's settle this first, let's settle the uncertainty first, and we might be a couple of years out.
So I would say that Canadian businesses should just lie low for the next 3 months.
This University of Toronto professor says it's a good sign China finally allowed Canada to have consular access to both of the Canadians it has detained. But she anticipates tensions will grow worse in the lead-up to Meng's next court appearance in February.
I think if the Chinese authorities will arrest a third Canadian, then I will start to panic.
Canadian businesses are now being warned about possible boycotts. If anti-Canada sentiment continues to spread, people in China may consciously avoid buying Canadian goods until the tensions ease. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa. Justin Trudeau told our colleagues at Radio-Canada today that he has not spoken to Chinese President Xi Jinping about the dispute or the 2 Canadians that are in China. And when asked why not, here's what the Prime Minister said.
Parce que en politique internationale, c'est toujours mieux de procéder par des pressions à degrés. Si jamais je lui parlais, je disais « faut les lâcher demain », il me disait « non, c'est quoi ma prochaine conversation ?» Qu'est-ce qu'on fait après ça? Donc, de commencer avec les ambassadeurs qui se parlent, avec les ministres qui se parlent, pour essayer de régler ça sans mettre plus de pression politique sur une situation qui ne devrait pas être politique.
For its part, Chinese Foreign Ministry said today it's maintaining, quote, smooth consular communications with Canada, and it says that the rights of the Canadian detainees are protected. In Britain, the new year will begin with a crucial vote on the Prime Minister's plan to leave the European Union. Theresa May announced today the House of Commons will decide on her Brexit deal in the second week of January. As Thomas Degler reports, she's as determined as ever to get the deal done, despite growing calls for yet another nationwide referendum.
If Brexit's a circus, here's the sideshow.
Your Brexit's not worth it!
Outside Parliament every day, they're demanding a referendum redo. A tough pitch at first, it's now gaining traction with those making decisions inside.
It's only recently that a lot of MPs are waking up to the fact that there's not really any alternative.
Have you got a plan B, Prime Minister?
The Prime Minister's closest aides were said to be making backup plans for a second public vote in case Theresa May's breakup plan flops. Joe Johnson even quit as government minister to call for a referendum on the deal.
It's vital we go back to the people now and ask them whether they want to proceed with Brexit on this basis.
The Prime Minister still intends to put her Brexit deal to a vote here in the House of Commons in January. That's Plan A. But what's Plan B? Right now, the most likely scenarios seem to be another referendum or a hard Brexit with no deal at all.
The Prime Minister!
The calls for a public vote have grown so loud, today May responded with an emphatic no.
Because it would say to millions who trusted in democracy that our democracy does not deliver.
She says that now, but May's got rivals on all sides of this House, eager to prove her wrong once again.
She said she wasn't going to call a general election. She called a general election. She said she was going to put her deal to Parliament for a vote, and she didn't. She's got quite a history of changing her mind, and I think she must realise now she's in a dead end.
Today, the opposition showed it too has tricks up its sleeve.
I'm about to table a motion which says the following, that this House has no confidence in the Prime Minister due...
May's response was to leave in a hurry. But she can only duck the criticism for so long. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, London.
Here are some of the other stories we're watching. The CBS Television network says its former boss will be fired without receiving any severance pay. The American media giant says there was ample cause to fire Les Moonves over accusations of sexual harassment and assault, and it won't be paying any of the $120 million severance that's in his contract. Moonves has denied any wrongdoing, describing the encounters as consensual. In Hungary, about 2,000 protesters clashed with police in front of the state television building. It was the 5th consecutive day of anti-government protests that were sparked by the introduction of new labor laws that the protesters are calling slave laws. These new rules allow companies to demand up to 400 hours of overtime a year and delay payment for up to 3 years. The government says it's necessary to address a serious labor shortage.
Build that pipe! Build that pipe!
In Calgary, there was a large rally in support of the oil industry. Demonstrators are calling on the federal government to build a pipeline to export Canadian oil. Earlier in the day, Calgary City Council unanimously passed a motion calling on the city to push the federal government to address the low price for Canadian crude oil, calling it a crisis.
And still ahead on The National, Sex Ed 2018. Inside an Ottawa workshop teaching young men about consent.
And we'll take you to the front lines of the opioid crisis inside an overdose prevention site.
But next, when medical implants fail, and the call for a Canadian tracking system.
It's clear that this transparency and accountability is a big gap in our health system.
I felt like I had a knife in my crotch and I walked funny.
Pelvic mesh that came apart.
You feel betrayed. You feel that your trust wasn't warranted. You feel sick.
A hip implant that didn't properly adhere to bone.
So this is data that we got from Health Canada Adverse Events, and
a joint investigation by the CBC and the Toronto Star has revealed story after story of Canadians whose lives have been forever changed by medical implants that didn't work the way they should have. Tonight, our investigation turns to possible solutions. There is a growing call for a national registry to track medical devices and the patients who use them. It's doable. The technology's out there, the expertise too, even politicians pushing to make it happen. So why then hasn't it? Vicadopia explains.
It was a moment behind the wheel that nearly changed everything for Scott McPhee.
My daughter and I were driving on the highway, and all of a sudden, boom! All of a sudden, I went black. I couldn't see, and I instinctively grabbed back onto my steering wheel because I had my hands let go, and I went to my side, and I struggled to grab on, and I turned around to see if I could see my daughter, and I couldn't see anything because it was black.
An electrical shock, 51 of them in all, zapping his heart as he lay by the side of a BC highway.
It was a mechanical failure, and I knew I had to survive to take care of my daughter, so I went into survival mode.
These devices are traditionally implanted in the upper chest.
Surviving the malfunctioning wire connecting his heart to a type of pacemaker. Within months of the ordeal, the manufacturer recalled all the wiring. That same product was also shocking other patients. It wasn't the only failure, according to McPhee.
Well, it's automatic ineptness, and it's another bureaucratic failure.
There are thousands of medical devices implanted in Canadians every year and no mandatory national system tracking their performance, leaving doctors with little direction to warn patients of emerging risks or recalls.
It's clear that this transparency and accountability and really important communication mechanism is a big gap in our health system.
Here's how experts told us that gap could be closed. Every time an implant goes in or on a patient, the hospital would register it along with the patient's contact information. So if there's a problem, they could be contacted right away. But researchers say if a patient's progress could be shared with them, they could also monitor trends and flag problems early, which could be shared with everyone involved. It's the kind of complex tracking this Quebec tech company already does for its clients, with goods like cocoa, gold, pharmaceuticals, and even dental implants. Why not all medical devices, asks the CEO.
When you get all this data, it's clinical trial in real time, deployed on an entire country. So it's very powerful for the manufacturer, the developer of those medical devices to get this data. This is worth so much for them to be able to design the right product.
An innovative idea, but not new. It's actually been kicking around Parliament for 30 years. We found at least 16 different motions, petitions, committee recommendations, and private members' bills, all calling on the government to track implantable devices.
We have an action plan that is in place.
The health minister says she will consider a registry as her department reviews medical device regulations. The maker of the wiring that shocked Scott McPhee's heart says patients assume the risk. McPhee is now suing the company, which has already paid hundreds of millions of dollars in settlements. Vic Adopia, CBC News, Toronto.
CBC News has put together a database of medical device incidents using data from Health Canada. So you can search by brand name, manufacturer, even health problem for information that's relevant to you. Just go to cbcnews.ca/medical devices.
Still ahead on The National, Consent 101, how a student workshop for young men is aimed at stopping sexual violence.
But next, a day on the front line of Canada's war against opioids. We're given rare access to an overdose prevention site.
We accept everyone for who they are and where they're at, and we allow people to be themselves.
There is no end in sight for Canada's fentanyl-fueled opioid crisis. In the first half of 2018, at least 2,000 people died of overdoses across the country. That is a slight increase over last year. Amid all that death, Moss Park Overdose Prevention Site in Toronto is a place of life. The National got inside access to see what its work means.
It's getting close to Christmas, and this is the time that everybody gets very depressed. And people do more drugs and things like that because they're depressed. There's probably going to be a lot of overdoses this winter. I'm lonely, and I'm disappointed in myself, and I'm sad, and yeah, it makes me feel better. I always thought I was going to be, a doctor. I really did. My dad instilled so much positive things in me, and I feel as though I've let him down. I really have, but I always thought that it was going to be a lot different for me. I can inject extremely fast, but just like that, an OD can happen just as fast. And if you're alone, then nobody's looking for you. Yeah, I don't want to die in there.
essentially what we do here is we watch people inject drugs all day long. Can I bin this one, hon?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And there's times that, of course, we would need to respond to overdoses. We happen to respond to an awful lot of overdoses here. So this is naloxone. So each day, before we open, we draw up a couple of syringes so that if there is an emergency, an overdose, that we'll have it already pre-drawn. I get to know what people's tolerance is like, so.
And you know, I don't have any tolerance.
No, your tolerance has grown, but like, there's been days that I've encouraged Kevin to take a smaller shot.
Yeah.
And then the one day I wasn't here to say, no, that's too much for you, was like a day that he overdosed.
And that was the day I overdosed. Yeah. But
It's a community. It's people helping people and people who actually care about us. It's giving me a fighting chance. It's giving me life. It's giving me another day, another week, or another month of being okay and still surviving through it. Thank God it was here. Thank God it was here. Because if it was anywhere else, I would have died. Without the staff here and everybody, they're amazing. We need them, and we need more places like this.
What's they gonna?
This is a vein finder to help with folks if they have a hard time finding a usable vein to shoot. You can kind of see there it highlights what we got under the skin, right? We've got a whole spectrum of folks that come in. We've got people who are, fully employed, and then we have people who are more street involved, who are homeless. So when people come here, they feel safe, they feel supported, they don't feel shamed and blamed and stigmatized. Not so bad, huh? No. People can come here with no judgment. We accept everyone for who they are and where they're at, and we allow people to be themselves.
When I was a little kid, I used to like to draw, but once I started doing drugs, I stopped drawing, and once I found harm reduction, I started drawing again. Before I got introduced to harm reduction, I was very angry. I wasn't a very nice person. Treated people badly. I stole, I robbed, I did everything I needed to do to get my drugs. I feel horrible for it now, and I'm just trying to pay society back for my mistakes. Come on, Justine, are you coming? So what I usually do is I usually go straight down to Dundas, and I cut through the alleys because
that's super smart.
The alleys are where they're all tucked in and they're hiding. And
that's actually super smart.
So that's what I do, and then I go through Allen Gardens. Right here last Tuesday, a gentleman, we were going out to do outreach, and a gentleman overdosed in the alley. So we Narcaned him and gave him CPR, brought him back before the ambulance even got here. Had him on his feet. Let's see what happens. I've lost 11 friends this year, and most people don't even lose that many in a lifetime, right? So I don't want to lose no more friends. These sites are what gives us the chance to save these people. These OPS sites they're everything.
This is a hard job. Sure, the injection service is at the heart of what we do, but that's just a piece of it. A lot of it is actually nurturing people and pointing out their worth and convincing people that they're worthy of love and affection.
You especially, I love you. You know, absolutely.
We need to create opportunities for people to be better and to be the best them that they know how to be.
This is the support system right here. We got a guardian angel and the one that makes you smile and makes everything okay. It makes everything a little bit better in this shitty existence. Everything will get better though. It's okay. I love you guys. I really do love you guys very much. I don't know what I'd do without you.
One reason Moss Park may be in trouble with regulators is that it's close to another site. There are 8 in Toronto, a total of 19 in Ontario, and several more across the country in British Columbia, Alberta, and Quebec.
And still ahead, we're going to change gears. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary has chosen its word of the year. A lodestar and feckless, they were close, but not the winner. That's in a moment, but before that, we take you inside an Ottawa workshop on sexual consent.
I think it's really made me see a little bit more through a woman's eyes.
And tomorrow on The National, Adrian sits down with our panel of U.S. political insiders to bring you up to speed on politics south of the border. Here she is with a preview.
A lot has changed since early November and those midterm elections, which may feel like years ago. The Democrats took back the House, bringing in a class of new faces. And while they don't officially take on their new roles until January, we've already been given a taste of what's to come.
Excuse me, did we win the Senate? We won the Senate.
When the president brags that he won North Dakota and Indiana, he's in real trouble.
And then there's the Mueller probe, or the 17 separate Russia investigations. And let's not forget the drama unfolding over Huawei. What is the U.S. political play? Is there a way out for Canada? I sit down with our U.S. political panel to talk about what is coming south of the border tomorrow on The National.
Welcome back. Here are some of the other stories we're following tonight. The man tapped to be the next chief of the Ontario Provincial Police has resumed his job with the Toronto Police Service. Ron Taverner has withdrawn his resignation as superintendent with the Toronto Police Department. His controversial appointment to the OPP was supposed to start today, but it's been delayed while all of that's being reviewed. Taverner is a friend of the Premier, Doug Ford. He didn't meet the original requirements for the job, but the PC government said it lowered the job qualifications to attract a wider field of candidates. Quebecer Andre Tamine has been sentenced for his role in a high-profile drug smuggling scheme that ended in Australia. He was arrested along with 2 other Canadians who made headlines after posting photos on Instagram of their supposed cruise vacation. Tamine has been sentenced to 8 years and 5 months in prison. And if you look into the night sky, you might catch a glimpse of a comet. Comet 46P, dubbed the Christmas Comet, is making its closest approach to Earth in centuries, and it won't be coming this close again for another 20 years. It is one of the brightest comets to pass by this time of year, and one we should be able to see with the naked eye.
Consent and sexual violence against women aren't really a popular topic of conversation with teenage boys, but in the Me Too era, there are efforts in place to change that, starting in schools. And that's where men's leadership groups come in. Nick Purdon visited a high school here in Ottawa to understand what it means for today's generation to man up.
Okay, well, welcome guys. My name is Matt. I work with the Ottawa Coalition to End Violence Against Women.
Here's what a sex ed workshop looks like in 2018. I've been allowed to sit in as students from A.Y. Jackson High School in Ottawa learn about consent.
Do you have a sense of what some of the women who go to the school have done today to prevent themselves from being sexually assaulted?
Maybe this morning they put thought into what they were going to wear.
They definitely sometimes take a car instead of walking because they don't feel safe walking.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. So some of the things that I hear people say is, when I walk to my car at night, I carry my keys as a weapon. I won't rent an apartment on the first floor. If I'm at a party or at the bar, I would only go with friends. I would never go alone, and I would never leave alone. Most of the violence that women report, it's men who are doing the harm. Why is that? Why is so much of it coming from guys?
Matt Chaff has spent most of his adult life trying to end violence against women. Here in Ottawa, over the last few years, he's given this workshop to about 4,000 people.
There's a lot of pressures that we're under to, maybe without realizing it, do harm to other people.
The students here want to end the violence too. That's why they invited Matt to talk to their men's leadership group they call Man Up. Amir Shukla explains what being part of Man Up has done for him.
I think it's really made me see a little bit more through a woman's eyes.
Like another interesting point is
Adam Telfer says every member of the group is committed to standing up to any kind of violence they witness at their school.
Coming into grade 9, I didn't realize rape and stuff like this was such a big deal until you actually sit down and realize, like, this is happening everywhere and this needs to be stopped.
This is based on research and conversations that I've had with people who've been in this situation or whose friends have been in this situation.
In giving these workshops, Matt has talked to hundreds of men in the last few years.
Like, doesn't it feel like the stakes are high sometimes?
I guess so.
And they tell him some of the challenges they face.
I sometimes hear from guys that gender roles are changing. People used to know how to behave. Now it's all up for grabs. It's confusing to be a man. I don't know what women want. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. All right, so we're going to switch and look at the other scenario as well. Okay.
Matt hopes workshops like this one can help men clear up some of their confusion on how to behave in a relationship. And the stakes are high when you consider that most sexual violence is committed by someone the victim is close to.
You are close friends with Stephanie.
That's what the next scenario is all about.
She tells you that her boyfriend, Emmanuel, has been telling her it's time to start having sex because they've been together for 6 months. He buys her flowers every month and gives her lots of gifts. Some of her friends ask when she's going to sleep with him.
I feel like he's also building up like a sense of guilt for her, right? Because he's doing these nice things for her because he's trying to get something out of her, right?
For him, in that situation, he has power over her. All her friends are on his side, saying that she should sleep with him.
So this exercise sensitizes us to the kinds of pressures that women feel. Even I could ask in the nicest way, she's still going to feel this pressure. She might actually feel like it's safer just to go along with it. That's what I hear people say, is it's safer to go along with it.
And here's the thing, the pressure teenage boys feel to have sex is part of the problem.
If you've been in a relationship for a long time, it's kind of expected that you'd start doing things sexually, and you're kind of weird if you're not. I think what is really hard for a lot of the teenage guys now is knowing what is right and what is wrong to do.
What's that like for you?
It's difficult. I really think our generation is going to be the generation of change, and I think that puts us in an extremely difficult role because we have to be the ones who define those lines.
Which lines?
The lines that you can't cross.
All right, guys, here's how it works.
Matt says if you're going to know those limits, you have to get better at communicating with your partner. That's what the next exercise is all about.
These are cards that other students have created that are like things they would say or do to check if what their partner's into.
What do you want me to do to you?
Realistic or not?
For me, that's not something realistically I'd say. I'd probably go more with like, what are you into?
Can I put my wand in your chamber of secrets?
Oh, God.
Of course, it's easy to make all the right choices and decisions when you're with your friends. And so as the workshop comes to an end, Matt challenges the group.
I think we all know what's the right thing to say in this room, right? We know the kind of guys we want to be. We know what our highest values are. Like, we know what we should be doing. But real life's messier than that. And I think the strength of your group is that you have each other. That's really powerful. That's a great
There's no denying there's a will here to change things. And if we're going to solve violence against women, that's not a bad place to start. Nick Purdon, CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, that seems like a very smart workshop. Okay, our moment of the day coming up. And forgive us, it's definitely on the lighter side tonight because Alvin and the Chipmunks are getting a run for their money this holiday season. It is the song that's gaining ground on the Billboard Hot 100 in a way we haven't seen in decades. But first, in case you missed it,
Merriam-Webster's word of the year for 2018 is justice.
Turns out a pretty common noun has been a pretty common search term online, up 74% this year compared to the last. Now, why would that be? Well, the dictionary's editor says just turn on the news. The U.S. Department of Justice has been dominating headlines with special counsel Robert Mueller's probe into Russian meddling and high-profile convictions of people tied to Trump. There have also been questions about obstruction of justice following presidential tweets. And who could forget Justice Brett Kavanaugh, the sexual assault allegations, and his nomination to the Supreme Court.
Any conversation about these topics can naturally lead to seeking a clearer idea of what we mean when we speak of justice.
Yes, justice beat out other words in the top 10, like lodestar, a word internet sleuths zeroed in on, trying to figure out which Trump insider wrote a scathing, anonymous New York Times op-ed.
I'm a nationalist, okay?
There was also nationalist, used by the president to set himself apart from globalists.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
And yes, feckless, not the other word, used by comedian Samantha Bee in a controversial skit. All reminders, says Merriam-Webster's editor, that words matter.
Through the dictionary, we can make these connections with words that tell us something about our culture, our language, and ourselves.
Tis the season of non-stop Christmas songs, and Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas is currently the most popular of them all. This week it became the highest-ranking Christmas song on the Billboard Hot 100 in the last 60 years. The only seasonal song that charted higher was back in 1958. Even I don't remember that. The novelty tune, the Chipmunk song. So whether you love it or not, we thought we'd celebrate Mariah Carey's achievement in our moment of the day.
Whenever you hear it, just from those first few notes, it's so unique. You know exactly what it is, and it just always feels good every time I hear it. It's been gaining steadily for the last few weeks as holiday music kicks in. What's different about Mariah's song is it just always leads the bunch. It's the one song that really is just far and away the holiday song every season. I think one thing that also plays into this song is it's not a ballad. A lot of holiday songs are ballads. You know, for 30-something years now, holiday songs have been able to be on the Hot 100, but only Band-Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas has even been really a huge hit. A couple by Pentatonics. Again, Mariah is the one that is just outperforming everything.
So there are two groups of people watching television right now, those who are singing along with that song and those who are muttering, I hate that song, because, Rosemary, there are certain things in our society that seem to be very polarizing.
Yeah, well, how could you be against Mariah Carey frolicking in the snow like that and singing? There's nothing wrong with that. And if you follow Ian on Twitter, and I'm sure you all do, you know he has the same feelings about Love Actually. And I also like Love Actually. I'm going to admit it publicly. I just don't care what people think.
I guess like, the thing I just don't get about it, I mean, Mariah Carey's fine. Like I'm pretty agnostic about her. You know, whatever. It's a fine song. But I just don't understand how it like some of the other songs that it beat out. Right, on that top 100 list, you know, classics like White Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There's so many other songs to choose from. Why that one?
It's catchy.
No, keep going, Andrew. What are some of the other ones? Why don't you go through the whole list?
Well, Jingle Bell Rock was another one. There's some really good songs on that list.
So may I ask this question of Rosemary first and then maybe Andrew? Do you have a Christmas song favorite?
Should I say Baby It's Cold Outside, or is that too controversial?
But wait, Ian, you haven't given your opinion on this Mariah Carey song. What do you think?
I love it, and I love the fact that it played a key role in Love Actually. That's a double win for me.
Gotcha. Okay, let's end it there, shall we? That's the National for this December 17th. Have a good night.
We're going to be in trouble now. Okay.
Night.
Night.